Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to go over text, text and mtext. And so we will start with text. And so first command text, return. And so I'm just going to start my point. I could type in my text height. So here in this drawing, I'm doing 5 feet is my text height. And then I just want my rotation to be normal, and which is in this instance 0 degrees. You can type, whatever degree you want, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, but I'm just going to keep it at 0 for this example. If you want to keep what it's at, you can just hit enter, or right now I'm just hitting 0. And then I just type the text. So, hi, this is Gary. And now you have the text. And so this font isn't very nice, but I'll show you what else we can do. So text, like other things, if I want to rotate it after the fact, I can do RO for rotate, if you guys remember, and I can rotate it whatever direction I want. I can M for move and drag it, or I can just select, after I select on the text and I grab the box, I just click. I'm not holding the click, I just clicked on it, and now I can drag it wherever I want. So you can see over here when I'm selected on it, on my properties pane, it tells the content, it tells the style, justify, the height, which is that 5 feet that I said, rotation. So if I wanted to go back to 0, now it rotates it. And so forth. If I do justify, it's justified left. I can do justified center. I can do justified right. We typically like left. And then on style, I already have default styles in here, but if I wanted to do Arial narrow, that changes the style of it, which also includes the font. So you can see how the font has changed here. But as you can see, if I type stuff, even if I hit return, it just keeps going in one long line. So I'm typing, and then I'm going to hit return, and it doesn't then carriage return and move down a line. It's just text is one single line. So I don't like using text that often. It just isn't as convenient. So what I will use is called mtext, so multi-line text. So mtext. And then I will click my point. I'll just hit enter. Then you expand the text box. And then right here is then I will type hi. This is Bob. And so you can see here, if I hit return or enter, now I get a second line. And then one of the things you can do is when you grab these arrows on this side, you can widen the text box or shrink the text box, which then you can see turns into multiple lines. Or if I get rid of the return, then it opens up into one line and then back down to 2 lines. And so then I can click on this and you can see the difference here. You can see there's only one grip point here, but this has one grip point within these three others on the edge of the text box. So here, again, the mText, you can change the style. You can change, this is, I like the justification. So I can do like middle center and see it leaves the one dot here and then you can adjust. So it's really good. Let's say I draw a box here and I want the text specifically in the center of the box. Then now it is exactly in the center of the box. Or I could do top center, or if I wanted top left. So it's an easy way to then justify the text in a location. So I'll click on it again. You can change the text height. Let's say I want to make this smaller, 2.5 feet. You can see now I made it smaller. Same thing, I can rotate it. Let's say I want it rotated 5 degrees. Let's say I don't like it rotated 5 degrees. And then now when you enter in here in a multi-line text, you'll see up top that the text editor actually appears. And with the text editor appearing, there's a lot that goes on. You can bold the text, italicize, cross through, underline, superscript, subscript, and then one of my favorites that you're going to see here, so I'm just going to take these all off, is in AutoCAD, it just is a trend that most people typically write everything in uppercase uppercase letters. And so here you can then, if you've written it in lowercase, you can change everything in uppercase so you don't have to retype it. It now also has, like Word, it has spell check in here. So you can come through and when there's a misspelling, they give the red line. You can then click on it and then choose which word you meant and it will spell check. That is, we're in 2021 and it is one of those that this is a more recent come about with AutoCAD, even though Word has had it for a long time. So it's definitely in there. Match also works. Like in Word, you can match type or text. And then in here, with this, if you wanted to override your style, you could come in here and let's say I wanted to go to Century font. I could override it directly and I could override the color. Ooh, I don't like that color. That's better. And so that could be individualized. I don't like doing this. Just like layers, I like to use styles that brings uniformity. And then what else do we have here? You can add, let's say I wanted to make a list. I could come up here on bulleted or lettered or numbered. Let's say I often use bulleted. So, I can say 1, 2, 3. So there's my list. Or let's say I want to change that to numbered or lettered. Let's say I don't want that one. You can change the line spacing. You can, if you're using lettered or numbered, you can start or continue on when you're doing lists if needed. That's useful. And then one of my most favorite is, you will see here, it's called mask. So when you select mask, say use background mask, and then this is the offset. So it will tell you how far off your text box the factor will. It will be 1.5 times off. So if you really want it really tight to the box, you just use a 1 factor. If you want it a little bigger, 1.25, 1.5. And then I use drawing background color is going to be the fill color. You're going to say, well, Gary, why would you do this? I'll show you. So let's say I have text here that doesn't have the background mask. Let's say I am going to just draw a bunch of line work in my drawing. And move it. And I'm scaling, so scale, enter. So this is the text on top. And if this all prints black, a lot of times this can get pretty confusing when you have objects under here. And when it's all the same color, when it ends up plotting. So it can be a distraction to then be able to read, all this stuff. I mean, it just looks like a mess. Where what the text box can do, the masking, is you can see, now I'm going to move this. Is now it hides everything behind it so you see the text box. And then you're going to see when I change the mask to be 1.5, now you can see it's done the offset bigger here. And one of the things you need to note is it follows your text box, so not your text. So if the text box is really big, you can hide a lot of information underneath. So typically if I'm using a mask, I want to make it pretty tight here and adjust it so it's only covering the text box. And so that's a nice little hint. I use the mask for most everything. And then another nice little hint is in here, if you type in draw order, so DRAWORDER. So there's these shortcuts where you can bring to front, send to back. So you can see if I grab this object and send it to back, you'll see all these lines are on top and now are overlapping. So now when I then bring it to front, now it's in front of that object. So this then pushes your layers and allows you to layer things properly. So I'm going to stop the video here, and in the next video we're going to get into text styles.